Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hope things are good. I have another book for you today that continue this little book trade here, a little talking review session. The book is that I've been just finished is called the same author that we talked about a couple videos ago, Brian Tracy, Goals. Brian Tracy he's actually a well-known writer. He's written over 50 books. So it's just interesting. There's a lot more. But anyway, this is what we're going to do today. And this book, it says how to get everything you want faster than you ever thought possible. Kind of interesting. And it talks about goals. And that's one of my big things that I like to have in my life is setting goals for yourself because you got to get things done. Anyway, Brian Tracy, he says that if you dream of something, your dreams start in your mind, but how do you get those out? And you want to accomplish something. So, for example, he says that if you want to accomplish something, how do you go by doing it? And it's really hard to get yourself started. You need kind of like a range of things to go to and from. So he says that why people don't set goals. Now, what's a goal? A goal is something that you set to accomplish. That's kind of what his description is. So you set something, you set a certain circumstances to accomplish, and we're gonna go through that. But why don't people set goals? Well, maybe they aren't important. Goals are not important. They don't know. People go through life and they don't set goals. They don't know what goals are, so they don't set them, and they don't accomplish things that they want in their life after so many years. You don't know. Maybe they just don't know how to set a goal, and that's a question. Maybe they're a fear of failure. People get scared. We get scared if we get if we set something and then don't reach it. We get kind of fearful and depressed, I guess. Fear of rejection. If you set it and then don't do it and don't accomplish it, then you're like, oh, you feel bad, you feel depressed, you feel like you don't want to do anything again. And so, maybe other people criticize them too. Oh, I have this goal to read this much in 1 year, but sometimes people criticize you. Says, oh, well, why are you doing that? We do that. But he says that goals give you that sense of meaning and purpose, a sense of direction. We all need direction. It's hard because you go through life and you think that direction is somebody's going to point a pointer and he says you're going to go that way, and it's hard because you don't want to always go that way. You want to make your own mind up, but we do need some kind of direction in life. Sometimes your negative emotions let yourself down. So self-pity, envy, maybe you're envy about that person having what you want and you want to do that thing. Maybe you get jealous, and then fear is always there too. Sometimes you have to justify it, why you want that. If you can't justify it, then don't get angry because you can't accomplish that same thing. Everybody's different. Sometimes you have to be positive about things and just say, oh, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to set it, and I'm going to go do it. School, is a big old thing about school is that you are responsible for achieving certain outputs. The quality and quantity of your work that you produce and the results you are expected to get. This is by what Brian is talking about. Is that, when you're in school, you are responsible for your output. What you put into something is what you get out of it. If you don't want to be there because if your mind is set in that predicament, you're going to get what you don't get out of it. And that's really hard to accomplish that, to see that until it hits you in the face, so to speak. So he says that, personality, there's 5 levels of personality. Personality is just, who you are, who you become. And that's your values, beliefs, expectations, attitude, and actions. One more time, 5 levels of personality. This is how somebody would describe you, how you act, or in being. 1 is your values, beliefs, expectations, your attitude, and your actions. So self-esteem is how much you put into something. It's your self-image. Self-esteem is how good you feel about something. And your personal growth comes from changing your beliefs. And it's about what you can do and who you can become and all the possibilities for you. Now, Brian says that there's 7 key goals to setting. So if you want to set goals, this is the 7 aspects of this. 1, he says, make sure they're clear, they're specific, they're detailed, and write them down. Sometimes you got to see the words, and it helps. Make sure it's measurable, and sometimes you have to see things. Okay, that's number 2, measurable and objective. Number 3, set a schedule, bound it, make a deadline. But don't set too close of a deadline. Whatever your goal you're accomplishing, make sure you set a little bit more. 4, make it challenging. You don't want to make goals too simple, because sometimes you can get over that. If I say, okay, one of my goals is to make my bed every morning for a week. I've done that, by the way, and I felt good about it. But the deadline was, that was it. That was my goal. It was a small goal, but at least it was there. So make it challenging. I want to learn another language in a month or something like that. Number 5, is the values congruent? Values is something that how you are presenting yourself. For example, you have a good quality. So a value is that you're always respectful to somebody. That's a value. A value is maybe you're respectful, but you're also very kind and considerate. That's a value. So make them congruent to what you partake in life. Number 6, balance among your career and life. The thing is, we live in a fast-paced world. We're all working. Life goes on. Life is always going to happen. And sometimes you have to set a balance, and your goal has to be that balance. Number 7, you have to have a purpose in life. What's the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to make me a better student, better parent, better human being. And so those are the 7. Those are kind of like the 7 why people set goals setting. And so Brian goes into 12 steps to achieve your goal. So we talked about setting the goal. Now let's talk about achieving the goal, because you can set up something, but you have to get there. It's like, you're right here and there's the end point right here. You can see it, you can see the end point, but you have to have an idea how to get there. So, number 1, you have to have a desire. What's the desire to get there? So if I'm here and I want to get there, what's the desire there? The desire is I want to accomplish this. Okay, 2, can you achieve it? Can you get there? Can you get there? Yeah, I can take this path. Okay. Did you write it down every day? So sometimes you have to write things down to see it. Sometimes your memory can fail, and we get a lot of stuff going on with life. Writing it down so you can see it. Number 4, is there a starting point? I'm going to start right here, and I can see it. I can achieve it. Is there a starting point? You got to start somewhere. This is number 5 instincts. Why do you want to get there? Why do you want to get there? Well, I see it. I want to stay on top of it. I want to get there. Okay. Is there any obstacles? Is there any obstacles? Well, it's way out there. I can't get to it because I have money issues in the way. I have transportation problems. I don't have a good work ethic. You have to set a deadline. So what's the deadline to reach that? You have it right here, and you're starting here. What's the deadline? Well, I want to be in 2 years. I want to have a master's. 2 years, I want to have my GED. In 2 years, I want to accomplish high school. 2 years, I want to get that dream car that I wanted. There's all kinds. I just put 2 years as a realistic goal. What needed skills do you need to get there? So, for example, if you want to learn a foreign language, The skills I need is that I need resources. I need a book. I need to get an application. I need to maybe get to know somebody that has that language. That's a skill. I need to kind of maybe have some people skills now. Oh boy. Um, it's learning targets. You got to get something to get there. You have to have some skills. Can't just not have skills. You got to have some additional skills sometimes. Um, is there anybody there that can help you do this? So if I want to learn a foreign language, is there anybody I know that's kind of fluent? Or maybe I want to be an auto mechanic. Is there anybody that I know that's an auto mechanic that I know that's more professional than I am in that field? I don't know. You learn from the best, right? Make a plan. Sometimes a plan is like a written down maze, or a written down. It's like directions to get there. Maybe you have to visualize it. I want to get to that location, and I can visualize it getting there, and I can visualize it when I get there. What's going to happen? And a lot of it along the journey, people give up. So don't give up. So so Brian Tracy, this is his 12 steps to achieving that goal. Very interesting book. Very interesting book that I like. It takes a lot of practice doing this, though. You can't just do it in one day. You got to do it consistency. You got to have a lot of practice and persistence. There's 3 keys to peak performance. Performance is how you are acting, right? There's 3 things that he wants to make sure that you put into performance: commitment, complication, and closure. You want to see it. You want to get there. Get to it and be done. Don't fail. Act like somebody is watching you. There's an old saying: when the cat's away, the mice come out to play. So if nobody's there to watch you, you don't really do 100%. But if somebody's watching you, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to be stressed now. You're going to start because people are watching you. Your attitude changes, your mindset changes. You just try something. And, success, people define success differently. It's successful to clean your room every week. It's successful to go out to dinner with your sibling. That's success. Success is to accomplish something. But there's a lot of obstacles in that success. And the obstacles that come to not succeeding is fear and doubt. We all get fear. We all have some sort of fear. And then we all have some sort of doubt. It's not going to work. And you talk yourself out of it. He says that the formula for success, there's a formula for success. It's the six P's. The 6 P's are: proper prior planning prevents poor performance. One more time. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So if you don't plan for it, you don't get the performance you want. Interesting. And intelligence. It doesn't take intelligence to set a goal to achieve a goal. Intelligence is very vague. Intelligence. Everybody has certain intelligence in different areas. And intelligence. It's measured on your actual age, the way that you can think. It's called the IQ. You can look this up. It's the intelligent quotient. This chronological age versus your actual age. And you can look this up if you want. I can probably do a video on it one day or something like that. But you got to be positive in your thinking, and your intelligence makes you better. If you just think positive, you can do it, and don't give up. And think that instead of going I will, I am going to do that. Because if you say I will, you might not do it. But I am, you're going to do it. Remember, it's how you are defining your self-discipline. You got to be disciplined yourself a little bit. You got to visualize it. You got to have a duration. You got to have a time, and you have to have a lot of patience. Patience. Sometimes you have to learn patience. A lot of people don't have patience because they never learned it, and they get kind of anxious. It's like, I'm never going to see it. Well, it's only been a month. If I worked out, if I'm working out, I want to be big. You got to give it a couple months. You got to give it 6 months to actually see some results, and you have to be patient. It's just being truthful with yourself, but also being persistent with yourself too. And that's always hard to do that. And he says that fear can be caused by ignorance. People, when they have fear, it means you're ignorant of that. You know, it's your first time doing it, and you don't know how it's going to end up. So we have a lot of fear that we're not going to try that. And you have to have a lot of self-discipline to back yourself up. But, you know, my overall theme about this is that it's you know, this book was a very good. I know I love goals. I think goals are important for everybody. I make goals all the time. I don't follow the 100% recipe of him, but, you know, I have my own thing. But you have to start somewhere. So pick it up. It's pretty good. You can order online, whatever. Pretty interesting book. It's only about, how many pages is this? About 250, but it's an easy read. But there's a lot of good quotes in there, by the way. I'm going to love the quotes. So hopefully that was a nice review for you, and I will see you around.